In the shadow of a high-stakes military standoff, the skies over the Middle East erupted with thunder as an elite fleet of U.S. Air Force aircraft surged forward. At the forefront of this strategic strike was the B-1B Lancer, its sleek profile slicing through the night air at supersonic speeds, loaded with a deadly arsenal of precision-guided bombs. Flying in perfect coordination were F-15E Strike Eagles, F-16 Fighting Falcons, and the stealthy F-35 Lightning II. Each aircraft brought a distinct capability to the operation: raw speed and power, electronic suppression, precision, and total situational awareness. The target was a heavily fortified enemy installation hidden in a mountainous desert zone believed to house long-range missiles, command bunkers, and armored units preparing for offensive action. What began as intelligence gathering had now escalated into a full-spectrum joint strike mission designed to crush the enemy in seconds. Back at the forward-deployed airbase, hours earlier, tension hung thick in the air as maintainers scrambled around the clock. Technicians loaded GBU-31 JDAMs into the belly of the B-1B, while others armed the F-15Es with AIM-120 AMRAAMs and bunker-busting bombs. F-16s were prepped with high-explosive ordnance and external fuel tanks for extended range. Meanwhile, F-35s underwent stealth checks, absorbing panel inspections, radar calibration, and thermal system conditioning to ensure undetectable ingress. The mission briefing room was filled with laser-focused pilots absorbing satellite imagery, route overlays, and last-minute weather updates. The order came from CENTCOM, a coordinated multi-wave assault to begin at 0 hour. Pilots raced toward their cockpits. Engines roared to life in sequence, and the runway shimmered as afterburners lit the night with fire. The strike group departed in silence, climbing swiftly to altitude. B-1Bs flew high and fast, escorted by F-15s on either side, while the F-16s and F-35s split below the radar horizon. Electronic warfare aircraft had already launched a wave of jamming signals, scrambling enemy radars and saturating the airwaves. The enemy had no idea what was coming nor from where. The B-1B's radar mapped the terrain in real time, while F-15E crews coordinated weapon sequencing and backup strike vectors. The F-35s operated autonomously, using their advanced sensors to sweep for hidden SAM sites and command elements. Everything was synchronized to a degree of precision that left no margin for error. As the aircraft closed in on the target zone, their systems lit up with confirmations. F-35 pilots saw infrared heat plumes beneath the Earth, bunkers camouflaged under rocky terrain. F-15Es flanked to the east, locking in on armored vehicle concentrations. F-16s pushed low through a canyon to line up for a high-angle bombing run. Above, the B-1B's bomb bays opened with mechanical precision. Multiple GBU-38s and long-range cruise missiles launched simultaneously, screaming toward their targets like silent reapers. In seconds, the desert was consumed by fire, the earth erupting in synchronized detonations that cracked the air for miles. The first wave shattered command posts and munitions storage areas. Shockwaves from the blasts tore through reinforced bunkers, ripping steel and concrete apart. The enemy's carefully concealed radar and missile platforms were reduced to molten debris. From overhead, the F-15s dropped their ordnance into impact points, identified by real-time data from the F-35s. At the same time, the F-16s delivered their payloads against enemy armor and mobile artillery attempting to reposition. Every bomb hit its mark. Dust clouds rose thousands of feet into the air, as secondary explosions confirmed the ignition of fuel stores and ammo stacks buried underground. Deep behind enemy lines, the F-35s remained undetected, weaving through valleys and hills with minimal radar signature. Their internal weapons bays opened silently, deploying precision glide bombs directly into tunnels used by hostile forces. Surveillance pods captured the results, columns of fire erupting from cave entrances and vehicles tossed like toys. Moments later, enemy reinforcements scrambled from a nearby airstrip, attempting to intercept. But high above, two F-15Es had already acquired targets. With a flash, AMRAAMs left their rails and cut through the sky, taking down the hostile jets before they left friendly radar coverage. The B-1B Lancers now looped back for a second strike. Using terrain-following radar, they descended to low altitude, skimming the desert at over 600 knots. Another wave of JDAMs rained down on infrastructure hubs, severing roads, command tunnels, and supply lines. Simultaneously, F-16s executed a daring close air support run, laying down precision fire on remaining defensive emplacements. The enemy was collapsing, losing coordination, losing communications, and watching their entire strategic zone turn to ash in minutes. A sudden alert warned of enemy surface-to-air missiles being powered up near a remote ridge. Reacting instantly, an F-35 pilot marked the coordinates and called in an immediate kinetic response. A pair of F-15Es altered course and struck with laser-guided bombs, vaporizing the launchers before they could arm. The F-35s then hunted secondary threats, using their electro-optical targeting system to find two mobile radar trucks fleeing the area. Within seconds, both were neutralized with pinpoint air-to-ground missiles. In the Joint Operations Center, officers watched the real-time satellite imagery with grim satisfaction. Dozens of targets blinked red, then disappeared. Audio feeds reported confirmation after confirmation. Bunker eliminated. SAM site destroyed. Enemy vehicle column neutralized. What had begun as an imminent threat had been disassembled piece by relentless U.S. air power. The seamless integration of 4th-gen and 5th-gen aircraft had proven lethal beyond expectation. There was no escape and no sanctuary left for the enemy. The retreating enemy forces attempted to regroup at a backup site in the hills, but their location had already been compromised. F-35s circled at a distance, waiting patiently, while the B-1Bs adjusted for another strike. With one final salvo, the bombers released their remaining payload thermobaric bombs designed to collapse tunnels and destroy anything underground. The resulting shockwave shook the surrounding terrain, sending plumes of fire and smoke hundreds of feet into the sky. From above, the battlefield went dark, no movement, no signals, only silence. Intelligence teams pieced together intercepted communications from the enemy. Panicked messages, broken transmissions, orders to retreat, and calls for help that would never come. The psychological impact of the strike was as devastating as the physical. The enemy no longer had a command structure to organize from. Their assets were obliterated, their morale shattered. Their attempt to escalate had met with an overwhelming response that they could neither counter nor survive. This operation sent a clear message across the region and the globe. Any threat posed to U.S. or allied forces would be met with precise, overwhelming, and coordinated action. The fusion of F-15 lethality, F-16 versatility, F-35 stealth, and B-1B payload supremacy created an unmatched force projection. With modern intelligence, rapid strike capabilities, and unmatched air superiority, the United States had once again proven why it holds the high ground in modern warfare. As dawn rose over the battlefield, the last embers of the strike smoldered across the landscape. Reconnaissance drones buzzed overhead, confirming total mission completion. Where once stood enemy radar arrays, missile pads, and hardened bunkers, there was now only scorched earth and broken steel. In less than 1 hour, a joint strike team had rendered an entire operational zone useless. Victory had not come through numbers, but through technology, training, and raw precision delivered from the skies without warning and without mercy.